If you're a senior planning to fly in 2026, stop what you're doing right now because the rules have changed dramatically. And I'm not talking about minor updates. I'm talking about changes that are sending seniors home from the airport without boarding a single flight. A grandmother from Ohio drove 4 hours to catch a cruise connection and was turned away at security because of something she'd never even heard of. A retired couple from Georgia missed a once-in-a-lifetime anniversary trip because they didn't know about a 48-hour window. These aren't rare stories anymore. They're happening more than people realize across American airports, and most seniors have no idea. I've been researching travel accessibility for years, and what I'm seeing right now is a perfect storm of new policies, updated procedures, and system changes that are catching older travelers completely off guard. By the time this video ends, you'll know the 8 biggest airport changes affecting seniors in 2026, and more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do about each one. Let's get into it. Number 8. The identity document landscape has completely shifted. That driver's license you've carried and trusted for decades may no longer be accepted at TSA security checkpoints for domestic flights. The real ID enforcement deadline has passed, and 2026 is the year enforcement became genuinely strict. The key is a small star symbol, usually found in the upper corner of your license. If that star is missing, you're not automatically denied, but you'll face delays, fees, and uncertainty that could cost you your flight. The smartest move right now is to check your license tonight. If there's no star, contact your state's DMV and get a compliant version, or start using your passport for domestic travel. Some states offer reduced fees for seniors getting updated licenses, so it's worth calling ahead to ask. Number 7. Emergency identity verification now comes with a price tag and 0 guarantees. Here's something that stuns most travelers when they hear it. Even if you realize at the airport that your ID isn't compliant, you can attempt an identity verification process on the spot, but it costs money, takes significant time, and TSA does not promise it will work. Think about that. You could pay the fee, spend 30 minutes on a tablet or kiosk, and still not make your flight, and that money is gone regardless of the outcome. The lesson here is simple. The preparation happens at home, weeks before your trip. If you're flying within the next few weeks and your ID situation is uncertain, a passport card is worth considering. It's accepted for domestic flights, costs less than many travelers expect, and can be processed relatively quickly. Number 6. Medication screening has gotten noticeably stricter, and pill organizers are causing real problems. This one surprises seniors more than almost anything else on this list. TSA agents are increasingly flagging those weekly pill organizers, the ones with little compartments for each day of the week, as security concerns. Without original pharmacy labels showing your name, the medication name, and prescribing doctor, agents cannot verify what those pills are, and they have the authority to confiscate them. Imagine arriving at your destination without your blood pressure medication or your thyroid prescription because it got pulled at a checkpoint. This is happening. The fix is straightforward. Travel with medications in their original labeled bottles. If carrying full-sized bottles feels impractical, ask your pharmacist for smaller travel bottles with duplicate labels. Most pharmacies will do this at no charge. For liquid medications like eye drops or insulin that exceed the usual liquid limits, you absolutely can bring them through security, but you need to declare them proactively. Before your items go on the belt, tell the TSA officer clearly that you have medically necessary liquids. This single phrase triggers a different screening process and prevents a lot of unnecessary stress. Number 5. Wheelchair assistance now requires advanced planning, not just showing up. Airlines contract wheelchair services through outside companies, and those companies schedule staff based on how many requests they receive ahead of time. Walk in without a pre-arranged request, and you could be waiting half an hour or more, sometimes long enough to miss your boarding window entirely. The rule of thumb is to request wheelchair assistance at least 48 hours before your flight, ideally at the time of booking. When you call or go online, be specific. Say you need assistance from the check-in counter all the way to the gate, and also from the gate to baggage claim on arrival. If you're connecting through another city, ask for gate-to-gate assistance. Under federal law, this service is free. You are entitled to it, and you should never feel embarrassed requesting it. Number 4. Seniors 75 and older have a built-in TSA benefit that almost nobody knows about. Here's the kind of thing that genuinely frustrates me because it means people are spending money they don't need to spend. If you are 75 or older, TSA policy allows you to keep your shoes and light jacket on during standard screening. You do not need TSA pre-check for this. You don't need to enroll in anything or pay any fee. It's automatic based on age. The catch is that officers won't always announce it or notice. In a crowded checkpoint, the process moves fast and agents aren't checking ages. You have to speak up yourself. When you reach the front of the line, simply tell the officer your age and ask to keep your shoes on. That's the whole process. If you're between 70 and 74, TSA PreCheck is genuinely worth considering. The 5-year cost is modest, and numerous travel credit cards reimburse the enrollment fee entirely. Number 3. Pre-boarding is your right, but airlines make it confusing on purpose. Federal regulations require airlines to offer early boarding to passengers who need additional time or assistance. That absolutely includes seniors. But listen to how these announcements typically sound at the gate. Something like, "We now invite anyone needing extra time or special assistance to begin boarding." Vague, right? Many seniors sit there wondering if they really qualify, feeling self-conscious about stepping forward. Here's what you need to hear. If you need extra time to walk down the jet bridge, find your seat, stow your bag, or simply get settled without being rushed by crowds behind you, you qualify. You don't need a medical document. You don't need to explain your health history. Walk up to the gate counter before boarding starts and say exactly this: "I need a little extra time to get settled and I'd like to pre-board." That's it. Gate agents are trained for this. They will help you. Number 2. Mobility device screening has new procedures that can feel alarming if you're unprepared. If you travel with a cane, walker, rollator, or wheelchair, be ready for it to be screened separately from you. TSA updated their mobility aid procedures, and your device may be swabbed, scanned, or manually inspected. This is completely standard and not a reflection of anything you've done wrong. What throws people off is not knowing it's coming. You step away from your walker and suddenly it's going down a belt, or a gloved officer is examining it closely. The mental preparation makes a huge difference. When you approach the checkpoint, tell the officer immediately that you use a mobility device and need guidance on how to proceed. If you can safely take a few steps without it, they'll walk you through the scanner while the device is checked separately. If you cannot safely stand or walk without your device, say so clearly and directly. You have the right to remain seated or supported while a modified screening is conducted. If anyone at the checkpoint makes you feel like this accommodation isn't available, ask for a supervisor. Supervisors have specific training on accessibility rights and will resolve the situation quickly. Number 1. Invisible disabilities and conditions are the most overlooked category of senior travel challenges, and this is the one I feel most strongly about. Not every condition that makes air travel difficult is visible from the outside. Severe arthritis, balance disorders, chronic pain, anxiety in crowds, respiratory conditions. These are real and they are disabling. But because there's no wheelchair or visible aid, travelers often assume they don't qualify for any assistance. The phrase that unlocks assistance is simple. Tell them you have a condition that isn't visible and you need a specific accommodation, then name what you need. I need to pre-board because standing for extended periods is painful. I need wheelchair assistance because the walk to my gate is beyond what I can manage comfortably. Airlines are legally required to provide reasonable accommodations, and what I just described absolutely qualifies. And here's one more thing I want you to remember. If you're flying solo, introduce yourself to a flight attendant during boarding. Keep it casual and simple. Just let them know you're traveling alone and might need a hand at some point during the flight. You'd be surprised how much that small moment of communication changes your entire experience on board. Now here's the thing about all 8 of these changes. Knowing them is only half the equation. The other half is making sure you have the right documents in your bag before you ever leave the house. Missing paperwork, whether it's a medical clearance letter for a device, a prescription copy, or a backup form of identification, can unravel everything even if you've done all the right preparation. In the next video, I'll walk you through the exact documents seniors should carry in 2026, including one that saved a traveler over $1,000. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.